The thing wearing a woman's skin came in the night, hungry for the twins' souls, but it made one mistake. It didn't know the true nature of their mother's black dog, whose eyes blazed with ancestral fire and whose growl carried the thunder of ancient protectors. Hi, my beautiful people. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for your support so far. Quickly, let's dive into this thrilling story. I assure you, it will be truly awe-inspiring. Let's go. In the village of Masasi, where the baobab trees whispered ancient secrets to the wind, lived a tale that mothers still tell their children when the moon hangs full and bright. It began with a mysterious dog with eyes that glowed like embers in the night, who appeared the same day Amara gave birth to twins, a rare blessing that the whole village celebrated for 7 days and 7 nights. Amara was the village's most skilled potter, known throughout 3 kingdoms for her vessels that seemed to hold stories within their clay walls. She lived alone at the edge of the village, having lost her husband to the fever season 2 rainy seasons past. The elders worried for her, but Amara's strength flowed like the great river that bordered their lands, quiet but unstoppable. One evening, as the sun painted the sky in shades of orange and purple, a large black dog appeared at her compound. Unlike the village dogs that roamed in packs, this one stood alone, its fur gleaming like polished ebony, with a white mark on its chest shaped like a crescent moon. The dog sat at her doorway, still as a guardian statue, its eyes fixed on her pregnant belly. "Go away," Amara had said, but the dog didn't move. It didn't bark or growl. It simply watched. That night, when the labor pains began, it was the dog's howl that alerted the village midwife, Nechioma. After the twins were born, a boy and a girl as perfect as dawn's first light, the dog remained. The villagers began calling it Mlinzi, guardian, for it never left the compound and seemed to watch over the babies with unusual intelligence. When anyone approached the compound, Mlinzi would assess them with those knowing eyes before deciding whether to wag its tail or stand alert. But peace in Masasi was about to be tested. Strange things began happening in nearby villages. Children were disappearing, leaving behind only mysterious footprints that looked human at first glance, but ended in claw marks. The elders spoke in whispered tones about shapeshifters, evil spirits that could take human form. One night, when the twins were 3 months old, Amara woke to Mlinzi's deep growl. The dog stood at the doorway, hackles raised, staring into the darkness. Through the window, Amara saw a figure approaching. It walked like a person but moved too smoothly, as if its feet barely touched the ground. Amara's heart pounded against her chest like a talking drum. The twins slept peacefully in their reed basket, unaware of the danger approaching. The figure paused at the edge of the compound, where the light from Amara's oil lamp couldn't reach. Mlinzi's growl deepened, vibrating through the mud brick walls of the small house. "Who goes there?" Amara called out, her voice stronger than she felt. The night wind carried no response, but the shadows seemed to shift unnaturally. Mlinzi moved closer to the twins' basket, positioning himself between them and the doorway. His usually soft brown eyes now glowed with an intense golden light that Amara had never seen before. The sight sent a shiver down her spine, reminding her of the stories her grandmother used to tell about spirit animals and their true forms. The figure took another step forward, and moonlight revealed what appeared to be a woman wearing a bright wrapper, the kind worn in their village. But something was wrong. The wrapper didn't move in the wind, and the woman's feet, they didn't quite touch the ground. "Sister," the figure spoke, its voice like honey mixed with grave dirt. "I've come from Kiboko village. I heard about your blessed twins. I bring gifts to celebrate their birth." Amara's fingers tightened around the protective charm her mother-in-law had given her before passing into the ancestor realm. Every child in Masasi knew that evil spirits often disguised themselves as travelers bearing gifts. But this one had made a mistake. Kiboko village had been abandoned 3 generations ago after a great drought. We receive no visitors after the evening meal, Amara replied, reciting the ancient words of protection. Return when the sun walks across the sky. The figure's face twisted into something that wasn't quite a smile. The gifts cannot wait until morning. They are special, like your children. As it spoke these words, Mlinzi's growl transformed into a sound Amara had never heard before, part roar, part thunder. The dog's black fur began to shimmer with tiny points of light, like stars had embedded themselves in his coat. If this story interests you, hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Thank you. Let's continue. The twins stirred in their sleep, and suddenly the air grew thick with the scent of rain and lightning, though the sky was clear. The mysterious visitor took another step forward, but now its movements were jerky as if pulled by invisible strings. Sister, it said again, but this time its voice crackled like burning leaves. The children, they are needed. The old ones, hunger. Amara's blood ran cold. She knew of the old ones, spirits so ancient they had forgotten their humanity, who fed on the essence of the newly born. Her grandmother had warned her about them, but such things were only supposed to exist in stories told around the fire. Mlinzi began to change. His form grew larger, his fur rippling like water under moonlight. The white crescent mark on his chest blazed with an inner light, and suddenly Amara understood why her late husband's spirit had sent this guardian. The transformation before Amara's eyes defied everything she knew of the natural world. Mlinzi's body elongated, his shoulders broadening until he stood taller than a man. The white crescent on his chest pulsed with each breath, casting shadows that danced across the walls like spirits in firelight. You dare enter the home of my master's children? Mlinzi's voice rumbled like distant thunder, speaking human words with the weight of ancient wisdom. You, who wear stolen skin and feed on stolen life. The figure at the doorway shuddered, its human disguise rippling like disturbed water. Guardian, it hissed, dropping all pretense of being human. These matters do not concern you. The old ones have claimed these children. Their power is needed. Amara clutched her protective charm tighter, positioning herself beside the twins' basket. The stories rushed back to her. Tales of twin children being special, marked by the gods, their life force more potent than any other. She had thought they were just stories to make mothers vigilant. My husband, Amara whispered, understanding blooming like dawn. He knew. That's why he sent you, Mlinzi. The dog spirit's tail moved like a war banner in the wind. Your husband walks with the ancestors now, but his love bridges both worlds. He saw what was coming. The old ones have grown hungry again, seeking the power of twin souls to break their eternal bonds. The shapeshifter's false form began to melt away, revealing something ancient and terrible beneath. Its skin became like bark, eyes multiplying across its face like drops of black rain. The wrapper it wore transformed into writhing shadows that reached toward the sleeping twins. But Amara was her mother's daughter, her grandmother's granddaughter. 7 generations of Masasi's strongest women ran in her blood. She began to sing, not a lullaby, but the ancient song of binding that every daughter of their village learned before their first bleeding time. Mama Matoto, Mama Wanguvu, mother of children, mother of strength. The shapeshifter recoiled as if struck. Mlinzi's eyes blazed brighter, and he began to pace a circle around Amara and the twins, each step leaving glowing paw prints that slowly formed a barrier of light. You think your old songs can stop us? The creature snarled, but there was fear in its multi-toned voice. We are the forgotten ones, the first children of the earth. We walked these lands when your kind still huddled in caves. Amara's voice grew stronger, her song weaving with Mlinzi's growls in perfect harmony. The twins, still sleeping, began to glow softly, their small bodies emanating a light that pushed back the reaching shadows. Suddenly, a cock crowed in the distance, too early for dawn. The shapeshifter's many eyes widened in alarm. From the direction of the village came the sound of drums and many voices raised in song. The elders were awake, and they were coming. "You are not welcome here," Mlinzi declared, his form now blazing like a bonfire. "By the power of earth and sky, by the blood of the living, and the wisdom of the dead, I name you outcast." The shapeshifter screamed, a sound like breaking pottery mixed with howling wind. It lunged forward, desperate for one last attempt at the twins, but crashed against the barrier of light created by Mlinzi's paw prints. The night air crackled with ancient power as the village drums grew closer. The shapeshifter thrashed against Mlinzi's barrier, its bark-like skin cracking to reveal the void beneath. But with each crack, golden light poured through, the light of dawn coming too early, called forth by the elders' drums. Through the darkness came Nechioma, the village midwife, leading a procession of elders. Their voices rose in the sacred songs of banishment, songs so old they were said to have been taught to humans by the first animals. In their hands, they carried clay pots filled with glowing embers from the eternal flame that burned in the village center. "Ah," Nechioma's voice cut through the chaos like a sharp knife. "So the hungry one has finally shown itself. We have been waiting." The shapeshifter whirled to face her, its multiple eyes blinking in confusion. "How? You think we hadn't prepared?" The old midwife smiled, her teeth gleaming in the ethereal light. "When these twins were born, the signs were clear. The sacred flame turned blue for 7 days. The ancestor drums spoke in their sleep. We knew the old ones would come hunting." Amara watched in awe as the elders took positions around her compound, their clay pots forming a larger circle outside Mlinzi's barrier of light. The twins stirred in their basket, and for the first time since their birth, they cried in perfect unison. Their cries joined the elders' song, adding a power that made the very air shimmer. "Now, Amara," Nechioma called out, "the binding words your grandmother taught you, speak them." Amara's voice rose, stronger than she'd ever heard it, speaking words her grandmother had made her memorize before passing into the ancestor realm. "By the power of new life and old blood, by the strength of mother's milk and father's protection, by the wisdom of those who walked before, I bind you." The shapeshifter screamed again, but this time in desperation. Its stolen shadow clothes began to dissolve, revealing more of the nothingness beneath. Mlinzi's barrier contracted, squeezing tighter. "You cannot!" the creature gasped, its many eyes starting to fade. "The old ones will send others." "Let them come," Mlinzi growled, his celestial form now so bright it hurt to look at him. "Every child of Masasi has a guardian now. Every home is protected. Your time is past." The elders raised their clay pots in unison, and the embers within shot into the air, forming a net of sparks above the shapeshifter. As their song reached its crescendo, the net descended. Where it touched the creature's form, golden light burned away the darkness. With a final wail that shook the leaves from nearby trees, the shapeshifter dissolved into nothing more than morning mist, dispersed by the early sun now peeking above the horizon. In the sudden quiet, the twins stopped crying. Amara looked down to find them smiling. Their tiny hands reached toward Mlinzi, who had returned to his dog form, though his eyes still held that otherworldly gleam. Nechioma approached, her lined face soft with wisdom. "Your husband chose well," she said, placing a gnarled hand on Mlinzi's head. "Not all spirit guardians are so strong, or so faithful." "Will they return?" Amara asked, gathering her babies close. "The old ones?" "They may try," the midwife replied, "but they will find no easy prey in Masasi. Every birth since your twins have been blessed with a guardian spirit. Every child is watched over. The old ones will learn to feed elsewhere, on things less precious than children's souls." As the sun rose fully, the villagers who had gathered began to drift back to their homes. But things had changed in Masasi. From that day forward, people noticed more animals that seemed a little too wise, dogs with knowing eyes, birds that kept watch, and even lizards that stood guard on compound walls. The village became known as a haven, where children grew strong and nightmares feared to tread. And Mlinzi? He remained with Amara and the twins, growing no older as the years passed. The twins became powerful healers. Their shared power was used to protect rather than destroy. Sometimes, on quiet nights when the moon is full, people say they can still hear Amara's descendants singing the old songs of protection, while a large black dog with a crescent moon on his chest keeps watch, his eyes glowing with the power of love that bridges the world of the living and the realm of spirits. For in Masasi, they know that the strongest magic comes not from ancient hunger, but from the simple, unshakable bond between protector and protected, between the seen and unseen, between the world that is and the world that was. And so the story lives on, told by mothers to their children, a reminder that in every shadow there might lurk danger, but also a guardian, watching, waiting, protecting, just as Mlinzi continues to watch over the descendants of the twins to this very day. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell for more amazing and thrilling stories to unfold. If you have watched till this end, you are my real MVP. I love you.